stats versus facts. Stats versus facts. Know where we at on the stats versus facts. Yeah, my boy, hella black. He back on the stats versus facts. And you might get smacked by the stats versus facts. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Stats versus Facts Sports Talk, because you know where we at. It's your boy, Marsh, and I'm here with the crew. What's happening, crew?
What up?
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
G Money, ain't nothing funny. What's happening, my boy? That's right.
You know how it is.
And we got my man over there wearing property of Max Castellanos, because he's the property of Max Castellano. I'm just kidding.
Damn. Man, you guys are going to come at me from the start.
Cut man, what's happening, Cut man?
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be on as always.
Pleasure to have you on. Pleasure to have you on for sure, man.
There's a lot going on in sports, man.
There are, man.
I'm happy to be here today.
You know what today is? It's Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Popeyes. You know what I mean?
Chicken goes up on a Tuesday.
What is it? Taco Tuesday. LeBron calls it Taco Tuesday, right?
Taco Tuesday. Head ass.
LeBron will be doing like
or my sombrero. Damn it.
But yeah, man, let's jump right into these to some of these games, brother, because we got a lot to talk about. Shoots. So the Lakers went up 2-1 on the Suns, and things were looking good. We're like, hey, okay, AD, LeBron, they seem to be kind of clicking, kind of getting back into playing. Chris Paul's hurt, they might get out of this in 5 or 6, right? Well, that sure has taken a turn, hasn't it, fellas?
Sure has.
We are looking at the score right now. It is 76-42. In the middle of the third quarter, you guys will see the headline tomorrow morning after this is posted. But wow.
Yeah, man. AD is just the loss of him is hurting the Lakers big time. LeBron can't do it on his own anymore. Nobody else is stepping up. Like it's just bad.
I do got a question, and I don't know if this is the right time to answer. You can push me off until later if you want to.
Go ahead.
Judging by how the Lakers are playing right now without AD,
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a big thing with Joel Embiid, who went down yesterday.
But he did.
Is it more of a detriment for Philly to be without Joel Embiid or the Lakers to be without AD? Because I know how big people were talking yesterday on Twitter, on the Twitterverse, about basically how much Joel Embiid does for those Sixers teams. Who's bigger for their team?
Well, without Joel Embiid, I think Philly can still they can still potentially make the Eastern Conference Finals because they're number 1 seed and they're playing all lower seeds. So, I mean, Washington, I think they can get it together and close them out in 5. And then the winner of the Hawks, Knicks, which should be Atlanta, they will have a tough time, but I think defensively they still have enough to get by them, right? So I'm going to have to go with AD because without AD, the Lakers are terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think they could beat anybody in the West without AD.
No. Especially not in the current play. I think even Memphis would beat them. So, yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Defending champs might be going home in 6.
Yeah.
As a Clippers fan, that should make me happy, but it kind of just makes me sad.
Yeah, you don't know what it'll be like. It'll be, well, this is the condensed season. They didn't have a long off season. Everything will be brushed over.
But you know what? We said the same thing about last year in the bubble. Oh, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? This is there's an asterisk on the season. I don't really see it this season as being an asterisk, really. It's been a pretty full season. They played 70. They didn't play 82 games, but they played 70 some odd games.
72, the same that they did last year.
I mean, without a break though, straight up.
Correct.
Yeah, this is about as close to a legit season as you can get. I don't think there's going to be much of a difference, in my opinion.
It depends on the finals. Like the Lakers won last year, so everybody was okay with it. Like, okay, now just probably would have happened in a regular season.
The legitness of the season, I think, would come when all the fans are back in the stadium, because we're now seeing more and more fans being back in the stadium. So I think next year, when we're gonna have a Klay Thompson come back, healthy supposedly. We're gonna have LeBron and AD with some rest because they didn't really get a whole lot of rest after the offseason, like Jimmy Butler and the Heat didn't. They ended up getting swept. You know what I mean? So having everybody back in the, healthy, so more than likely for next year, with fans back in the arenas, I think is gonna, more or less legitimize the season, and especially with guys that we see move around, But to answer your question, AD is a bigger loss for the Lakers.
I kind of agree with that.
Mm.
It's close though, closer than I expected.
Man, because I mean, you still have LeBron. If you take off Embiid, what are you, Tobias Harris, probably the next best player?
I mean, Ben
Between
Simmons.
him and Ben Simmons, I guess, but offensively it would be Tobias, yeah.
But legit, they aren't anything without Embiid. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
I think you just like look at player by player. You're just like, okay, I'd rather have Seth Curry. I'd rather have Tobias, Ben Simmons, the surrounding pieces. You're like, they're probably better overall than, washed Gasol, washed, Caruso, all the other.
Shooter.
I mean, and they made a big free agency signing. They took from our Clippers. I purposely forget his name because he's dead to me now.
Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, he has. I haven't even seen him in this series.
Hadn't been playing a whole lot.
He is buried on the bench right now. They don't, even with all the injuries, they still don't want to play him.
Yeah, he's just
including Morris as well. He's not really doing a whole lot for them either, and he helped defensively last year. But obviously, that Lakers team, getting rid of Dwight Howard hurt, getting rid of JaVale McGee hurt, getting rid of
Rajon Rondo
really hurt. So yeah, they just don't have it. They don't have it, fellas. Oh. But on the flip side, the Clippers were pretty much left for dead, looking like it, and they finally got themselves back in a 2-2 tie.
And all the momentum of the series.
With Doncic hurt now too.
And Doncic is hurt too. Now, here's the thing.
Why you got to bring that up?
Here's the thing. The away team has won every game in the series so far. So as the trend goes, it would seem to say that the Mavericks are going to win game 3, but game 5, excuse me. I said game 3, game 5. So the Clippers are going to have to break that. They're going to have to really break that. So I think they can. And I picked them in 6 from the beginning anyway. So.
I have Clippers in 6 at this point. Granted, I am used to, as a Clippers fan, if y'all don't know, I'm used to being disappointed. Just look at last year's 3-1, throw up, they lost. But it ain't over till it's over. I'm not going to say that they're going to win the series. I think that they have hold of the series. I think that they have all the momentum. I think Luka hurt is pretty big, but I'm not ready to call it a victory just yet. You got 3 days. When do they play? They played Sunday. By Wednesday, who knows? Luka Doncic might be. They give him 3 days to recover.
Neck be good, you never know. So, but I will say that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they've been playing well for the series. It's other guys that needed to step up, which Morris now has. I've seen Batum hit some threes. Reggie Jackson's actually playing pretty well. Rondo's getting minutes. So
Rondo was coming up huge for us. I think game 3 he was plus 22. I believe game 4 his plus minus was even higher. Rondo, he is the ultimate veteran guy that you want on your team. Look at what he did for the Lakers last year. I didn't really believe it. I was a little hyped for the trade when we signed Rondo, but really seeing him in action and during these playoffs, that's the guy we need. That was an absolutely fantastic signing. Reggie Jackson he's decent, but Rondo is coming in clutch for the Clippers during this playoff run. And playoff P is playing a lot better than pandemic P did.
Yeah. At least in this series. But like you said, we'll still have to see if they're going to end up making it out.
No, he did not.
So, man, this man Damian Lillard he's something else right now, fellas. He's something else. It's Portland and Denver, y'all. This game.
I thought it was over.
As we're talking, it is going to a 2 overtime game.
Yep.
Damian Lillard has hit the game time 3.
Was that a 3 or was that a 2, fellas?
That was a 3.
Because I looking at his foot,
back.
He did step back. I got to see that again.
His momentum was completely going opposite court. Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, he's and he said, "Yo, where's my foul?"
He's getting up there in that argument of, okay, you got a shot for your life coming up. You know, hey, if he misses this shot, you're dead. Who do you want taking the shot? Damian Lillard is coming into that conversation, man.
I want Iguodala.
You know what? Give me Big Game Rob.
That was hilarious, man. He said, I want Iguodala. I said,
Who
huh?
said that?
Max Keller.
Max Kellerman.
Really?
Yeah. He said Earth needs to be defended. He said the Martians had the death beam pointed at us. He said, who's the guy that you would want taking the last shot? He said, I want Iguodala. And it was right after the I think the Warriors had beaten the Raptors game 1.
So when he was so it wasn't even when he won MVP of that series?
It was when the Warriors beat the Raptors game 1, Iguodala hit the game-winning shot. Or it was game 1 or game 2 when he hit that winning shot.
It's a short list, man, and Iguodala is not on that list. But Damian Lillard is climbing on that list. Wow, that was a shot, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no, Damian Lillard is that guy. When he stepped back, though, I'm looking at it. I was like, is that a 3?
And he was calling for the foul too.
Oh, he definitely got fouled. Now that's one of the shots that I don't do, fellas. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So they're going in a double OT.
Okay, so last series is still tied 2-2, 50 points by D. Lillard. We still don't know what that's going to look like coming out of this. Clippers 2-2. Looks like those are the 2 series right now that are kind of up in the air, right? Left in the first round.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, we could almost all agree Phoenix is probably going to beat the Lakers.
Unless Davis makes a miraculous comeback or Andre Drummond somehow drums. I don't know what the heck.
AD needs to channel the spirit of Paul Pierce or Willis Reed or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe Kuzma needs to get his Michael Porter Jr. on from last year. Oh, I'm sorry. I opened up. My bad.
Lakers are about to trade him mid series.
I don't know, man. I feel bad for Kuzma. I mean, as bad as you could feel for someone making, $10+ million a year, however much he's making right now. But
look, all he needs to do is go to get his own team and be like the other light skins that left the Lakers. Get a bunch of tattoos and he'd be good.
Go back. He needs to go to Detroit, score like 18 points a game, and
go team up with Jeremy Grant. You feel me? You and Jeremy Grant become that new duo in Detroit and get them out of the mud and into the playoffs.
They'll be the new just like Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace.
Shoot, that's more like
Rip Pendleton.
Yeah,
that was a heck of a
Sean
team.
Prince.
That was back in the day. I grew up a Lakers fan because my dad was a Lakers fan. He was a Magic Johnson fan. So, back before, when I was 13, 14 years old, still hadn't quite picked my team.
That was in the 1970s anyway.
way back in the 90s for those of you too young to remember.
I remember that Detroit team very, very well.
That was a well-built team, man. That beat a stacked Lakers team too, but
by the
I don't know if you'll see that again.
By the way, Lillard has 55. Yeah. 12 of 16 from the 3-point line.
He's shooting 70-some% tonight, is he not? What is the shooting percentage right now?
Yeah, he's 12 of 16 from the 3-point line overall. 17 of
Yeah, that's 75% for the free throw line. Am I correct?
3-point line, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, 3/4 of it. My goodness.
No way.
Hey, he just missed one. So what else we gotta talk about, man? You guys,
Sorry.
I could wax poetic about how the Clippers have broken my heart all day long.
Sorry about that, fellas. Sorry about that, y'all. It's just
we're getting hyped, man. Damian Lillard, this is something that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, for real. You got Monte Morris trying to go back at him. Like, what is going on?
I mean, Damian Lillard.
For some reason, I thought you said Monte Ellis. I was like, whoa, Monte Ellis is back.
Monte Ellis is nice. So anyway,
and I mean, and speaking of old school, you got Aaron Gordon looking like was the Miami Heat boy over here.
Got him looking like Michael
Beasley. Yeah, you got Aaron Gordon looking like Michael Beasley over here too.
Be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true throwback game.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the fans, y'all, that are just doing whatever the hell that they want to do, man. This is getting very ridiculous. Like the guy in Philly just ran out on the court. It was wild. Obviously, you had a bottle thrown at Kyrie's head. You had, of course, Trae Young getting spit on. John Morant's dad, getting racially slurred at. Although that was kind of cool seeing that video of him and those other Utah Jazz fans. They were talking shit to each other, but like it was cool. You know what I mean? They were, but yeah, I don't know what's up with these fans, guys. Y'all help me out here, because I don't understand how you can be acting the way that you're acting.
I understand it. I mean, I grew up watching. I mean, one of my fondest sports memories, I wouldn't say fondest, but was the Melee. Melee in the Palace. Malice
in the Palace, absolutely.
How did that start? Same way that it started. They threw a bucket of popcorn at Ron Artest, right? That was a black mark on the league for a long time. This has been going on for a long time. I don't think it's really anything new, different, but I think the narrative around it is what is kind of, the players are standing up for it a lot more. Back then, it seemed like it was just something that happened, right? You didn't really get the players' opinions, views, standing up for it. Now it's the players seem to hold a lot more power, especially like Kyrie Irving, the way he's talked about it. I think I like the way this is heading. I like the fact that they are really condemning it at this point, and it's getting a lot more story. But who knows, man? I don't know. I don't think this is anything new, to be honest. But we really haven't been able to see this in a year and a half.
Right. I think to me, it's just the way in that it's happening. I don't like how it's happening. Because, I mean, you can heckle, sure, but spitting and the water ball throwing, I don't know. It's just a bit much for me, fella.
It's definitely a black eye on the league, man, and on the fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that.
I think it's like a society thing. Like everything seems to be more tense in society. I think there's more people butting heads and more like tension, like from social media and just everything. People lack of respect for one another, going lower. Think it has anything to do with that, or just
what going in, if you do this, you're getting, at this point, you're getting kicked out. You're never going to be able to see your team again play, right? You're getting blackballed from all games, stadium for life. What makes somebody want to do this? Too much alcohol?
I think it's like the tribalism within ourselves. Like we get on these tribes, like we'll put the uniform on, whether it's a team, whether it's our race, whether it's our gender. We'll get so ingrained in these tribes, and we'll go to war over anything. And I think we just need to step back from that and kind of like, it's harder because it's emotional based. Everything's emotion based. It's not logical thinking. Because like what you said, you laid out logically what would happen if I did this stupid act, but it's because logic's not being used. It's emotion. It's all emotion driven. Reaction.
Yeah. What makes that worth it, right? You know the punishment.
Yeah.
Still decide to do it. Is it okay, screw it, I'm going to get clout from this. I mean, people have been running on the field in soccer games for years and years. I don't see this as anything really new, but the fact that it's happening, this is 4 or 5 times already in the first round of the playoffs.
Mhm.
That's
6.
6. I mean, that was a good tackle. That was a really good tackle by, it wasn't even security that tackled the dude in Philly.
Yeah.
Somebody might need to, Dana White, I know he signed that Best Buy employee to a UFC security deal. Where you at, Dana White? Whoever did that yesterday, that was pretty heads up by them.
Right. As we're talking, I'm gonna bring this back up. It's 143-140 game right now. The Nuggets, MPJ just hit a big shot. He's actually 10 of 13 from the field, y'all. So he's shooting very well himself. Such an underrated player to me still. I don't know. What do you guys take on that? Because I think
I wouldn't call him underrated.
Okay.
Because this is his second year in the league, correct?
Third
year. I don't know if he's underrated because, I mean, damn, I think it's just coming out party. Yeah. Everybody kind of knew, hey, you draft him. He's a top 3 draft pick, correct?
Should have been, but because of the back injury, people passed. The Clippers passed on him twice.
Yeah, I think he went to the right spot because he was able to like rest, and he was able to, if he would have gone to a team that would have rushed him out, maybe he doesn't have a long career.
So as we're watching this, let's just say it for all y'all. 14 seconds left, down by 3. This is Damian Lillard's time, right?
Part 3.
There's another Damian Lillard 3 coming right here to send it to 3 overtimes. Has to be.
And okay. Well, it didn't happen because CJ stepped
out. What's your favorite narrative so far in this first round of the playoffs? What stands out to you?
CJ stepped out of bounds. Go ahead.
My favorite narrative is of everybody's thinking the Nets are going to come out of the East.
You disagree?
Yeah. I don't think they're coming out of the East.
You still got Philly?
Yeah. And this is coming, me. I've talked a lot of smack about Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant on this podcast. I was first person to say, okay, they made me a believer. Why don't you think that?
It goes against everything that I believe that needs to happen for you to be a champion. I just don't believe that you're going to take 3 stars that don't play with each other all year pretty much, that are one's coming off of Achilles, one was injured because he was fat, out of shape, and the other guy, Kyrie, gets has his moments, and then he gets injured a lot too. And then you're going to just throw them all on the court, no chemistry with their team. I just don't believe that's gonna, no defense. Like, I just don't believe that's gonna carry you to a finals appearance. Like, and seeing the Boston Celtics score 125 points here, I'm just like, I just think the Bucks are going to be able to hold them under 120, and I think they're going to be able to score over 120.
They're going to run into something they cannot match up with in the Bucks.
Yeah, I think
the Bucks are finally going to get over the hump.
I believe a team needs to go through adversity and a year of at least a year of overcoming and understanding what you got to. Even though they're experienced players, I look at a team like Utah had to go through it. Last year they struggled, but now they're just teams need to go through that year. Everything about it, I just don't believe that's going to happen. I don't think, unless, and especially if Embiid's healthy, you're telling me they're going to get to the Bucks and then possibly go through the Sixers unscathed. Like, I just don't believe it, man.
I agree with you, because we've had this conversation on the pod before a couple months ago. And I said the same thing. I didn't believe in the Nets. I thought they were going to implode. It's impossible for a team of those 3 types of alpha. I don't even know if I'd call them alphas, but the 3 guys that need the ball in their hands that much.
There's only one alpha on the team. It's Kyrie.
Yeah, I would actually say it was Harden.
Nah, Harden is definitely not an alpha.
Kyrie acts like an alpha. He wants to be an alpha, but I think Harden is the true alpha.
He's the Jordan, the Kobe. He's the alpha male.
Kyrie is?
Yeah.
I agree. Kyrie, I agree.
I disagree. I think
the way he acted with LeBron. The reason why he didn't want to be with LeBron's teammate no more, because he's the alpha. He wants to prove himself.
Yeah, but he wants to be, but that doesn't make you an alpha just because you want to be that. There's been a lot of guys throughout the league that has wanted that.
But he always
they
wants
can't
the
handle
moment.
it when it
He always
happens.
wants
They
the
can't.
moment. He always comes up in the moment.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. I'm thinking about this too, Daniel.
but he couldn't lead the Celtics. He couldn't take them to anything big.
Well, among injuries too. But Daniel, I'm gonna put this in the reason why I think that Greg is G-Money's kind of right on that one. Kyrie wanted to leave LeBron, go to the Boston. Kyrie wanted to leave. He wanted to go to Brooklyn, right? KD wanted to go to Brooklyn because Kyrie was there. He also wanted to go to the Warriors because Steph and them were there. So obviously KD's not an alpha. Harden got traded to Houston after coming off the bench, and he ended up having Chris Paul, complained about that, then had respite, complained about that, and then went to go join KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn, which is the reason why, to me, he's not an alpha because Kyrie was there.
See, I understand that. I understand the argument of, hey, there is something to wanting to win it yourself. And yes, Kyrie has that. I will not take that away from him. He absolutely has that respect, and he wants to do things on his own. But if you kind of look at the way this team is going and what the things Kyrie kind of says, the respect he wants to get, and the way that Harden plays this game, Harden's really I think he's the glue, he's the alpha of that team, even like in the sense that he's the guy that is they're gonna win the championship because of Harden, not because of Kyrie, not because of Durant. They're gonna win it because of Harden.
I think that's confusing who the alpha is with who's the most important piece.
Yeah.
Harden's the most important piece because Kyrie and KD do not win a championship.
I think Harden is quietly leading by example. I think
the
Harden is doing his job. He's the one that doesn't have to say, I am good enough. He's showing you he's good enough. And that's a true alpha.
He's the point guard. But we've seen Harden not come up in big plays, big moments.
True.
I still think, to me, fellas, it's Durant is the most important player, but Kyrie is the alpha.
I just always say, I always feel I go by the thing of, if you have to say you're an alpha, are you an alpha? And I've seen Kyrie kind of want to kind of come out and try to say that I'm the guy. If you have to say you're the guy, are you really the guy?
I mean, the greats did that. Shoot, LeBron, the Kobe's, the Jordan.
They proved they were the guy.
But just because you're an alpha doesn't mean you're going to win by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know, agree. But I'm just saying, they said, I'm the guy. KD said, you know who I am. I'm KD. You know what I mean? But obviously he couldn't win it by himself because he was
Mr. Two Twitter accounts, KD.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I could get with you, Greg. I could see that.
But
so who's coming out the East then?
Oh man. Now I gotta deal with this Embiid injury now too. I gotta see what Embiid, how long he's out, or what he looks like after coming back.
So it's either Philly or Milwaukee then, right?
Yeah,
one of those two.
I think the Bucks get him. I think the Bucks get the Nets.
I hate to say it. I think the Nets are gonna go get out the East. I don't like it, but I think they are.
I understand. I mean, it just reminds me of when everybody puts together these teams and they're like, just throw the best talent on these teams and don't think about roles, don't think about chemistry, don't think about any of these things. They just and they say this team would beat this team. It's like, no, it has to make sense. Like it don't work.
They're kind of proving it. That's what I'm saying. Like I thought that was gonna happen, but they haven't folded so far. They look like they're playing pretty damn good together.
But here's the thing: you beat a Boston team without Jaylen Brown, and Kimber was not really even playing that well. So I'm kind of like,
Tatum had his best game probably of his career yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, when they won,
was savage.
When he dropped 50, that's when he had
when they lost this last game.
When he had his 40,
he had a all around. Even Bill Simmons said this, and this is why I went back and kind of rewatched it. Bill Simmons said that was probably Tatum's legit best game that we've seen from him, and they still lost.
I just think there's a big difference between the Bucks and the Boston Celtics.
For sure. Now here's the thing about Here's the thing about the Bucks. They pretty much had an easy. Well, I mean, they struggled the first game with Miami, and then after that, blew them the hell out. That's not going to fly with Brooklyn at all, because there's going to be times where, I mean, they're going to make Giannis shoot, if they miss shots, Brooklyn's just gonna come down, pass, open. Joe Harris is gonna show up somehow, hit some threes. They're gonna have somebody else show up. I mean, between the big three, they're gonna drop probably another 70, 80 points, and they just need 20 from somebody else, and they'll probably end up winning. So I'm just like, for me, I hate to say it, but the two teams that I don't want to come out and go to the finals are going to go to the finals because I feel like the Clippers just threw that team together with the best talent or whatever. And the same thing with the daggum Nets. And they sat out and didn't even freaking play most of the damn season.
Please, you just put us on the level of the Nets. Marshall, do you watch basketball?
I do watch basketball. And it's pretty much like that. Kawhi missed a bunch of games. Paul George missed a bunch of games.
We've been together 2 years. This is our second year together. Don't put us on the same level of the Nets.
Okay. And what happened last year?
But they learned how to play together. Just like Gregory said, you need to lose. You need to learn how to win as a team. They had that year last year. This is the year that they come together.
What did they really come together?
Do not put my Clippers
but hold on.
Who just came together mid-season.
Did they really come together though? Did they really come together? How many games did they actually play together as a full
Doesn't
team?
Matter. They've had the whole.
You have to build chemistry.
They had the whole offseason for PG.
Which was like, what, a month and a half?
But they've been playing together. This is their second season already, almost 2 full seasons. You're going to say that they haven't had time to play together?
Yeah, you inserted Rondo. Ibaka's been hurt for most of the time. Kennard's been hurt. Okay.
You're talking about role players. I'm talking about PG and Kawhi.
But you need those guys.
They those 2 stars together.
They've been hurt most of the time too. They haven't really had a chance.
I will pull up the stats right now on StatHead. We will see how many games they played last season together and this season together. They played way more than Kawhi, Durant, and Harden have together.
Me and Kyrie, and I know that. But
so how are you going to put those 2 together?
Because they're still not playing majority of the games together. When one was hurt, the other one would play. Them playing together, a lot of times ain't happen.
But they've been practicing together. They've been working together. They've been on the same team talking about how to play as a team. That still counts for something. And
they struggled with the Mavs and just kind of figured it out in a first round where
they struggled with Luka Doncic, man.
And they shouldn't have had any problems. So if they go up to Utah and get smacked around with the team that actually has cohesiveness together, I'm going to sit here and tell you the same damn thing.
Okay, but what if they don't?
And if they don't, I'm still going to say the same damn thing.
You're still going to say the same thing, and you're going to be wrong.
No, I'm going to say they finally started getting it together now. But overall, no. I need to see a team that plays together for a whole damn season, not a guy plays.
They did.
They did.
They played together for 2 seasons. You can't just say, okay, because they only played half.
They played more games together last year than they did this year.
How many games have they? Do you even know how many total games they played together?
This year, they played a total. I want to say it was like a 20-something games that I saw that they played a total. And we can check that.
I'm stat checking this.
That they both played
in the past 2 seasons.
I think 80,
they played 80 games together in the past 2 seasons.
I know a majority of them was last year. I get that, but this year
the majority. What?
A majority of the games that they played together was last year.
Kawhi was injured most of last year.
He was injured most of this year. But in the big games, I remember they were playing last year because they played the Lakers 3 times, excuse me. This year, I think one of them played.
They played 43 games together this year.
At that point, I remember it was like 20 something. So 43
games together. They played more games together this year than they did last year.
Surprisingly.
Greg, give me the third opinion, man.
I don't know.
You know me. I'm too close to this Clippers team, so.
I was just thinking, like, if the Bucks had Bogdanovich or if Ben Simmons could score 18 points, the Nets would definitely only not even get close.
That's why I love you.
I want to see the Clippers, between that and still not having role players play together either. Like them playing a full game with a full team. The chemistry is just not there. for
They've had a
me.
lot. They've had a lot of injuries, sure, but I still wouldn't put them on the same level as these Nets.
The Nets had a lot of injuries. It's in the same category. Durant
Yeah,
came back, got hurt.
Yeah.
Kyrie
But Durant didn't
with
even
his
play
mental
last
health.
season.
Huh?
Durant didn't even play last season. He had
I
a
know.
torn Achilles. So
Well, I know,
this
I know.
is
He was
literally the
injured.
only season they've
Whole
had to play together.
But I'm saying,
And then they pick up, Mr.
Fat shit.
Old school Clippers fan, Blake Griffin,
Oh,
mid-season.
he shouldn't
Yeah.
even be playing.
They pick up Harden after
That
the
should not
season
even be playing.
started.
right?
The Clippers
And
at
they had
least almost
Aldridge.
had their entire full team outside of Rondo before this season started.
No, they didn't. They brought in Ibaka and Rondo.
Before this season started,
Yeah,
they signed Ibaka at the beginning of the season before they played a game.
right.
what
And
I'm
then he got
saying.
injured early on.
No, he didn't. He got injured at the end. He missed the last 30 games.
I didn't see him a lot in the beginning.
He started the season.
I remember he
missed-
started the season. Yeah.
He's missed 30 games basically from the last couple months.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I do not remember seeing him in the beginning. That's all I'm saying. I do not remember seeing him in the beginning because I was like, where the hell is Ibaka at?
Give me 2 seconds, gentlemen. Go ahead and continue. I'll be right back. I got it.
Like he's back.
For me, I'm telling you, that's my nightmare scenario because I'm just looking at guys that load manage and you play 40 something games, whoop de freaking do. What happened to everybody else that played, 60, 70 games, the majority of the games, this season, and has actually been there to build chemistry with the team.
Yeah.
To
I
me,
definitely
that's
don't want them in it. I mean, some of it's my emotional attachment, not wanting being a fan of basketball and thinking that's like probably the worst scenario to happen.
for me, it is too. Clippers and Nets, because I don't want it. Now, if you start doing that and you're going to have other stars being like, oh, I can sit, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, like I can load manage and I can just
yeah, I don't want to see that. And that's a Clippers Nets finals. Seriously. He's right. It's not the exact same thing as the Nets because they only played 8 games together, but you got 3 of them. So if you got a guy that's injured and 2 of them play and then somebody else gets injured and only 1 of them plays versus 2 guys who are your superstars, you have a higher chance of those 2 guys playing together than 3 guys playing together because of just health reasons and whatever else. So that's why, to me, it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of on the same level.
Yeah.
In a certain sense.
For me, for the Bucks,
know.
it's gonna come down to Forbes and Bobby Portis.
Yes, and Bobby Portis is improved in shooting. Losing DiVincenzo kind of hurt.
Yeah, that one sucked.
By the way, the Nuggets did defeat the Trailblazers to go up 3-2.
Fucked.
They
My
they
bad.
had to work for that. Though.
Yeah, but I'm kind of the Clippers. Nets more than likely now are gonna come out.
I don't know. I think the Clippers are put together a little bit. Yeah, they're a super team, absolutely. But they were put together with a little bit more. How do I say this? They were put together a little bit better than the Nets.
I think there's going to be one. I still feel like there's going to be another injury. I mean, this playoffs has been kind of dictated by injuries coming up, and I just feel like there's going to be another one.
Who do you think?
I think it's going to be one of the Nets guys, to be honest with you.
Potentially.
That'd be a shame. As long as it's not, I don't know. As long as it's not Giannis or one of my Clippers or LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron and them are already out of it. So
Yeah, they're already in trouble because of AD.
Yeah, but LeBron's already old. I don't want to see him get another injury that might make him not even as good. You know what I mean? I'm kind of thinking
Well,
about
that would be the
future
talk this
more than anything.
offseason. That'd be the talk this offseason. Is this the beginning of the end of LeBron? Or is
How
he-
many more good years does he have left?
with
At
that
the top
ankle injury, I think that took off about a good year and a half. So I'd say maybe another year and a half because I originally would have said 3. But I thought about something, fellas. if the Lakers lose in the first round, I feel like they're gonna go out there and try to sign somebody big. And who else bigger to sign than the guy that's probably gonna be unhappy in Miami, Jimmy Butler? I could potentially see that. If
Get
not,
rid of Kyle Kuzma, pick up Jimmy Butler. That's a win-win.
you can get rid of Kyle Kuzma, you can get rid of Caldwell Pope or Harrell, something like that. Bring in Jimmy Butler. You can even get rid of Drummond if you want to, and you would still possibly have, if I'm not mistaken, a top 10 pick or something like that.
I
Yeah.
think Pat Riley hates LeBron enough not to do that trade. I think he's that kind of guy.
True. Oh, you absolutely. Pat Riley is that kind of
I
guy.
thought Jimmy had he had a player option.
No.
So who's the free agent class so far? Do any of you guys know?
Kawhi, DeMar. I think Harrell has an opt out. I mean, there's some random people.
It's a pretty weak free agent class.
Yeah. The
Because Kawhi's not going to opt out. I hope not. If we lose in the first round, he will.
Yeah. I would agree. Or even if they have like a epic meltdown like they did against the Nuggets last year, he would opt.
You got to be a little concerned about your team, like spending all that money on Carnard. Marcus Morris was like he's taking a step back.
I'm very concerned. We are. This is do or die right here. Conference finals are blessed at the very least. But I'm pretty confident. I like our team. And I've watched plenty of games this year. I really enjoy our team this year. I think they came together much better than last year's team. I think they played together, enough, or at least been around each other, right? And that's the thing. This is why I was arguing so much. Is there's still a difference between playing together and being around each other, talking strategy, learning their tendencies, watching them, building up a relationship, right? And I think the Clippers have kind of really gelled as a team, and that means something.
Big pickups in Batum and Rondo.
Batum, Rondo. I can't really say Serge Ibaka because he hasn't really been on the floor enough.
Y'all got Cousins, y'all just don't use him.
And it was also, getting rid of old dude that went to the Lakers. I'm not even gonna say his name. Was a big win. And Lou Williams. You know what I mean?
Y'all let go of JaMychal Green. I felt like that kind of hurt a little bit because
that did hurt. I like Ibaka better than Green though.
Fair. And then y'all have he used to play for the Portland Trailblazers, his role player. Y'all had him at the beginning of this last season, and y'all traded him to Miami. What's homeboy's name? I can't think of his name right now, fellas. He's a big man. He plays more of a 4. Plays more of the power forward role.
He plays for who right now?
He played for Miami. Originally played in Portland. It was when Portland had him and Alan Crabb coming off the bench. That's
Harkless?
Harkless, Mo Harkless.
There you go.
And
I liked him too.
Him and JaMychal Green were making that hell for LeBron and AD at the beginning, and they traded him.
I like Morris. I like Morris, Ibaka as the pickups there, and Batum to be able to replace those guys. I think that's a pretty good replacement. The Clippers got the talent to be able to make it all the way. They really do. Can they do it? I don't know. I've had enough heartbreak with them that I'm not going to say for certain. But
it'd be interesting playing Utah next series because Utah should be blowing the Grizzlies out, and they're kind of.
Ja Morant took a step forward though.
For sure. Him, Dylan Brooks. I mean, they're playing tough. Don't get me wrong, but even at that, I'm expecting Utah to just be beating the brakes off of them, and they're getting scored on a lot. Even though they're scoring more. So I'm like, what happens if you have Kawhi and Paul George and Marcus Morris D'ing them up? Because Donovan Mitchell is not as hard to guard as Luka Doncic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You put even PG on Donovan Mitchell.
You put Reggie Jackson and Donovan Mitchell, and you'd be okay.
And Reggie, let's not go that far now.
But I'm saying he's not going to get cooked as much as
Yeah.
As by.
Give me Mr. 94 feet.
Beverly. You put Patrick Beverly on.
Give me Beverly
on Donovan Mitchell. That's going to be tough for Mitchell to get through.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I want to see what Utah has, because they're looking at them, watching the game yesterday. They have a 30-something-year-old former attorney who is their GM. No basketball experience before this, right? The team that he's built is pretty damn awesome. Like
He gets help from D Wade too.
What's that?
He gets help from D Wade as well. Even though, well,
Yeah, but I mean,
you're right.
to a guy who hasn't been in the basketball business, who they trusted him to build this team, and he did. He's came through for them. I want to see what Utah's made of, man.
Yeah,
I think if I'm the Clippers, I'm taking out Mike Conley and Bogdanovich and just letting Mitchell score.
You think? Yeah. I
think I could take Bogdanovich out, and then I think I can.
I think you could really just take all three of them out. To be honest, though.
And then
I think, yeah, because you can't let that low post. Let's see what Mike Conley can do.
Yeah. Joe Ingles kind of gets excited playing against Paul George, so we'll see if he has another.
He does. He really does.
He's another comeback,
but we've been on basketball, fellas. Let's go ahead and move on to a couple of fights. Interesting fights. We got Logan Paul going up against Floyd Mayweather Jr. and I guess it's an exhibition boxing match this weekend. Cut, man. Break this down for us, man.
Man,
should we expect anything from this fight at all?
No. Tune in. I mean, what was the last fight when Jake Paul fought Ben Askren? I mean, it was a music video, right? You had more star power and more talent in the musical acts that were there than the actual show, right? No, I'm not expecting anything from this other than you have two big names who people know. Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. Now, don't get it twisted. Floyd Mayweather does have a lot on the line this fight. I don't have a crazy amount to say, just for the fact that it's a fluke. It's a show. That's all it is. But Floyd Mayweather, if Logan Paul, who is 30 pounds heavier than Floyd Mayweather, lands a shot that happens to put him down, his legacy is over. So there is something to watch for, right? Can it happen? I don't know. Conor McGregor couldn't do it. If Logan Paul does it, good on him. That's Floyd Mayweather for putting his hat in the ring too many times just for the money. But he made the comment the other day. It's like legally robbing a bank because people are going to pay for it.
I personally don't see any real threat from Logan Paul to Mayweather. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, is a different story. That could potentially be interesting if they decide to fight.
Logan Paul is better than Jake Paul, though. Logan Paul is actually a legit boxer. I will say this. Jake Paul is a sideshow. Logan Paul, actually, he's been boxing a couple of years longer than Jake Paul. I think he is better.
Interesting. I remember when he lost to the other YouTube star, KSG or something like that.
Oh,
back
yeah.
when they had a little
KSI or something.
KSI. I'm sorry, KSI.
Mm-hmm.
My apologies, KSI. I love it. But since they started boxing, or since Jake Paul started boxing, I know he's 2-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
3-0. I'm sorry. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
It'll be a show, man. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And I know you're gonna watch it, Marshall. Great. You're probably gonna watch it too. We can't lie. We're gonna watch it.
Greg might not watch it.
But it's like the Nets. We're not gonna like it.
Say it again, G Money.
His fights tend to be really boring. Mayweather's.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really like a big technician. So I'm not really, know the intricacies and nuances of the fight game where I'm like, like if I would like football or basketball or something. So I'm like a general guy. So I'm like, all right, it was nothing really going on. Like Mayweather's just able to slip everything and not get touched.
It's probably how it's going to go down, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Mayweather's just trying to do this now for charity. I'm a humanitarian now. I'm always gonna bring that up. I love Mike Tyson though, man. But
I love me some Mike Tyson, man.
It was just so real, just coming from him. I'm just happy he's found still has that passion for fighting, but he's doing it for, bigger things than himself. So I just
that's why I respect Mike Tyson more so than Floyd Mayweather, man. He's one of those guys who literally went through so much, experiences early in his career. People hated him, and look at what he's become. People, wrote him off, and he has came back and become a very, very much a fan favorite now, right? Floyd Mayweather's only gotten more hated since he's retired, which is saying something.
That is true.
Floyd Mayweather will never be as liked as Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson went to prison for rape. Say what you will about society, but that is saying something. In this day and age, you know what I mean? Mike Tyson is a figure that people love to see. He has messed up, and it makes him more human, and it makes him more relatable, and he has owned up to his mistakes, and he's come back stronger for it. Floyd Mayweather still is, to the average fan, he is not relatable. Most people tune in to see him lose because he is the guy that just touts all his money. He touts how much money he has. He kind of spits at the gods of boxing and says, you know what, I'm going to do things that you don't like. I'm going to wait till people are past their prime to fight them. I'm going to fight these sideshows. I'm going to make my money. And love him, he has made his money. But at what cost? I would rather be a Mike Tyson-like figure and just be beloved, or a Muhammad Ali, or, some of these guys who are beloved by fans and may not have as much money as Floyd Mayweather than the other way around.
So let me ask you this.
What say you guys?
Let me ask you this question. Because back then, obviously boxing was it was one title, right? As far as amongst the weight, weight classes and whatnot. Now there's so many damn titles. It's just kind of like, we can't really have the best going up against the best, unlike the UFC. So in saying that, would you agree or disagree that Floyd Mayweather kind of fought who was in front of him, whether or not they were, the best or whatnot? Did he just fight who was in front of him, took care of business, and it kind of is what it is?
You're saying if he did that, or are you saying that?
If he did that, because he obviously
if he did that, it'd be different because he.
No, but I'm asking you, do you think that he did that in his career?
No, absolutely not. And he will say that he didn't do that. He's come out and kind of said that. He fought De La Hoya years past his prime. He fought Manny Pacquiao years past his prime. He fought Shane Mosley years past his prime. He fought Canelo before his prime. And he is not ashamed to say it. And I think that's the thing. But he will say, I'm the richest man in boxing. Nobody's ever been beat. But there's a reason why Julio Cesar Chavez, who did go undefeated, he won 100 fights before he lost. Rocky Marciano, guys like this are way more beloved. Ali, who lost, I believe, 8 times. Tyson's lost his career. These guys are way more beloved and considered better. A lot of people hate putting Mayweather above these guys, even though they've lost compared to Mayweather. But Mayweather says 50-0, 50-0. How did he get to 50-0? Who did he beat? Somebody tell me, please. I know you know this. Who did he beat to get to 50-0?
He beat Conor McGregor.
Yes. People don't like that. He beat Conor McGregor to get to 50-0. No matter what you do, I don't care if you are undefeated, you're not going to be beloved beating Conor McGregor to get to 50-0 and saying, look at me, I'm undefeated.
Do you think it has anything to do with his fight style too?
He is the greatest defensive boxer of one of the top defensive boxers of all time. I love his fight style.
I'm saying, like, because the other guys are like kind of like slug it out kind of guys. You know what I'm saying? Heavyweight, slug it out kind of guys. I think that's more visually pleasing to people, and people enjoy it better than being a defensive fighter.
Which is why people like
more. But so that's why he has 2 things working against him. If he only had one thing, his fighting style working against him, he could overcome that. He could say, I'm the greatest defensive boxer of all time. I fought De La Hoya in his prime. I fought Manny Pacquiao in his prime, and they couldn't touch me.
Right.
That's a lot different than saying I am the greatest defensive fighter of all time, but I waited to fight Manny Pacquiao until he was over the hill and had an injury, and De La Hoya until he was 41 years old and acting like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. If you guys caught De La Hoya on the last Jake Paul fight, dude is crazy. But yeah, he has two things working against him, and I don't think the defensive aspect of his career would work as much against him if he didn't wait so long to fight the best. Certain guys, I should
do
say.
you think that was more of him waiting, or was it more because of the promoters?
No, it was waiting. It was absolutely waiting. Yes, it was promoters, but I mean, he was his own promoter.
Mm-hmm.
He chose that. You know what I mean?
I just think he was a strategist in the ring, and he was a strategist outside the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And so
I think that's why he
pick one or the other.
curated his career like that. And
Yeah, pick one or the other, because I mean, Bernard Hopkins, one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time. He is beloved. He fought until he was practically 50 years old.
Right.
Everybody loves him. Nobody has a bad thing to say about Bernard Hopkins, even though he hardly got hit and he had kind of a boring style.
Mhm.
Why? Because he fought anybody and everybody. He was the executioner. That was his nickname.
Right.
That's why it doesn't matter your style. Yes, there's certain people that have more of a better style than others, more fan engagement. But Mayweather's big beef is that he just didn't fight the best like everybody else did.
For me, like, I understand that he cleaned out he cleaned out the divisions, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that. Could he have gone heavier and fought, like, let's say a Triple G? Yes, although there's Triple G one that said he didn't think he could beat Mayweather too or something like that. If I remember.
I don't recall that. But I'll bring up this. Who is Pacquiao fighting here coming later on this summer?
He's fighting what's his name? Junior.
Errol Spence Jr.
Errol Spence Jr.
Pacquiao is still fighting the best of the best. Who did he beat not too long ago?
Keith Thurman.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He is still fighting the best boxers out there.
Right.
Why is Mayweather not fighting these guys? He beat Pacquiao. Why is he not fighting these guys?
See, and that was I had a conversation. While he will remain nameless, but he knows exactly who he is. And he that was his argument, was Mayweather fought who he was supposed to fight. And I said, why did he not fight, an Errol Spence? Why did he not fight a Terrence Crawford, guys like that? And he said, because they were irrelevant in that part of his career. It would have made him, it made no sense for him to fight them because they were more irrelevant in his career. And I'm just kind of like, but those guys were probably some of the better fighters and some of the guys that he fought, though. They might have been younger, sure, but I said he fought a younger Canelo. I said, if he fights Canelo again, it's not going to happen. He said, why should he have to fight Canelo again? He already beat him. I'm like,
he fought Canelo before his prime. Yeah, and I know who you're talking about because that conversation was on this podcast. But I will say this: since Pacquiao Mayweather in 2017, I will say this: it was on the same day that Chris Paul hit a post-up fall away to beat Tim Duncan in the Spurs Game 7 of the first round of the playoffs. I just had to throw that to you, Spurs fans. But since that fight happened, Manny Pacquiao has fought Keith Thurman, and now he's about to fight Errol Spence Jr. Floyd Mayweather's fighting Conor McGregor and Logan Paul.
Didn't he fight
and some Japanese dude?
No, didn't he fight, was it Amir Khan or something like that?
Who? Mayweather?
Yeah.
He might have. But I'm just saying in the past 3 years since that fight happened. Well, look at the caliber of opponents.
Right.
But you can see what it's always been important to him.
Yeah.
Maintaining
the undefeated record and money. Yeah.
So,
but the undefeated record is way more special when you did it to say F everything else. I'm just going to fight everybody. And if I come out with an undefeated record, I come out with an undefeated record rather than I'm going to pick and choose my way to that.
Right, and
Sorry
that's
to
what I
cut you
feel
off,
like.
Ray.
Go ahead, G Money, and I'll put my point in.
Oh, I didn't say anything. It was him.
Oh, no, that was
I
me.
do want to hear what you were saying. You were on a good point. I apologize for cutting you off. Though.
This is me or G Money?
G Money, what were you gonna finish? What were you gonna say?
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just chilling.
I was just gonna say that you know, I don't dislike Mayweather. And with what I was saying, apparently I'm a Mayweather hater. I just want to see him lose. Da, 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 da. I'm like, that's not it at all. I'm just saying I want to see a good fight. If he loses, so be it. But I would want to see the best go up against the best. That is just how I've always been. But I get called a hater. Oh, you just want Floyd Mayweather to lose. It's like that's not it. That's
No, it's not it at all. I agree with you, Marshall. I mean, it's
I can understand of the point of where you're like, well, if I already beat somebody, why should I give them a rematch? And okay, fine. But if you beat somebody earlier in their career and then later on, they get better, you know what I mean? Like,
John Jones fought Daniel Cormier twice.
right,
GSP fought Matt Hughes 3 times.
right.
BJ Penn fought GSP twice. I'm going to UFC, but in boxing, everybody. Ali fought
Frazier?
Joe Frazier 3 times.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everybody fought everybody multiple times. De La Hoya fought Sugar Shane Mosley twice, I believe.
Fury while they're gonna fight a third one, you have
third time.
And Triple G might fight a third fight. They fought twice. You know what I mean? It just
Ward fought Gotti 3 times. I mean, boxing is made on rematches.
right.
It happens. People get better. I guarantee you, Lomachenko is going to fight Lopez again, probably multiple times throughout their career because they're both. Lopez is still young. It happens. I don't think why does it is a rematch? Well, because they're probably a different fighter than when you fought them the first time.
Right.
I would put my money on Canelo. I would put almost everything I own on Canelo if he fought Mayweather now. He would destroy Mayweather.
Yeah, and arguments with Mayweather fans would be because he's older, but they said Floyd can touch Floyd, and some of them still don't think he can touch Floyd. I'm like, well, I don't know if Floyd can touch Canelo now because he's not taking too many shots. He's, you know what I mean? So there's a fighter, guys. There's
no, I was just gonna finish. Boxing is boxing, man. It's the sweet science. It changes.
Right.
You change things.
There's a guy I want Canelo to fight, which I'm hoping is soon. By Jermell Charlo, the undefeated twin. I want to see them fight. I mean, that would be.
I hope they do.
Huh?
I hope they do, but I don't think Charlo has anything for Canelo.
Possibly, but I still would want to see it happen. I mean, that would be a hype fight. Obviously, we want to see Crawford, Earl Spence. That would be a hype fight too. We're gonna see. You shook your head.
Huh?
You shook your head on that.
You said we're gonna see it. I don't know. Are we gonna? See it?
No. I said that would be a hype fight too.
No, yeah, no. I was actually looking at the TV.
I was about to say, wait a minute. I said we are going to see Joshua and Fury fight after Wilder and Fury fight, which
hopefully that's not too late though.
Yeah, agreed. So there's going to be some good fights coming up, but I guess this last fight before we let you go, Mr. Cutman, would be Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul have agreed to a fight, which is going to be August the 28th, to a boxing match, and Woodley's ready to come out and knock off Paul's you-know-what. So
give me a couple seconds real quick. I got it. My phone's give me 1 second and I will answer your question.
All right. Well, I will go to G Money. From what you know of Tyron Woodley, right? Great UFC fighter, was kind of more known as a striker, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think he's going to fare better against Paul? Because this is a guy coming from the UFC into the boxing world, although he is a striker and older, versus a guy in Jake Paul, who's still young in the fight game, which I didn't know he was the younger brother out of him and Logan. I actually did not know that. I always thought Logan was younger. But yeah, give me your thoughts on that. Do you think it's going to kind of go the same way as the Askren Paul fight did, or do you think Woodley's actually going to have a big shot?
Nah, Woodley's definitely gonna have a big shot. I don't think he's gonna come in sloppy and just looking for a payday. And you know, some of the controversy is that Ben Askren was paid to take a fall. You know, I don't know if that's true or not, but he was definitely there just for a payday. Obviously, Tyron Woodley would also like a good payday, so that's why he took the fight. But I definitely think he's going to come in ready to go, and I think he definitely has a lot better. I'm not really convinced. Still, you know, it's going to take me some while to get used to Jake Paul being a legit fighter, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Cut man, what do you think, man?
I can't wait for this fight. This is what I've been waiting for. Tyron Woodley is a legit fighter. He might not be a boxer, but he has been a stand-up fighter most of his career. He knows the stand-up game much more than Ben Askren. I think this is the end of Jake Paul's money train. That's all I'm really going to say about it.
Okay.
He's got to be kind of confident to take this fight, though, right? To throw off this fight.
I don't know why you would take this fight, honestly. Like, even Daniel Cormier, you know, if you saw when Daniel Cormier confronted Jake Paul during the pay-per-view not too long ago, and he said, I want to see him fight somebody legit like Tyron Woodley. I honestly thought Jake Paul would wait to fight somebody legit. Good hopes for Jake Paul. He must have a lot of confidence in his abilities, but there's no way. Think of Nate Robinson with 10 plus years of striking experience. Tyron Woodley is a monster.
Right. It's going to be interesting. If Jake Paul wins that fight,
then he's legit.
Yeah.
And aren't people going to be like, oh, well, depends on how it goes. People are going to be like, oh, Woodley took a dive, or this is fixed, or something, right?
How much money does he have to offer Woodley for Woodley to take a dive?
Because Woodley does not seem like a guy that's going to take a dive.
Yeah,
like, that guy is straight.
But that's what I'm saying. What's the number? Because I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, yeah, Woodley probably wouldn't. But if they say, you know, UFC doesn't pay Woodley $10 million per championship fight. If he said, I'll give you $10 million for you to take a dive, would Woodley say yes?
No, I think you got to give him about 50, in between 50 and 60 mil for him to take a dive. Personally, something that's going to be like, yo, more than I've made in my whole career.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how much he's made his whole career.
He hasn't made $1 million in the UFC fight in his career. I will bet that. Because even John Jones actually hasn't.
There's 5 million.
Yeah.
Wait, but what are each fight? What are the fight purses?
Probably in the 100,000s, I'm assuming.
He's probably made 300,000 at most for his biggest fight.
Base salary.
You're saying a guy who's made 300,000 ish per fight is going to say no to $10 million?
I think he's going to want 50 because I think 10. Don't get me wrong, 10 is cool, but at the same time, like it's going to have to be something outrageous, like 50 to 60 mil, you know, to where he's like, yo, I'm set. My kids are set. Like, I think it's going to take something like that for him to be like, all right, I'll take a fall. But it's not going to happen. So he's going to straight up, you know, fight.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about. Say that again.
Did y'all take a fall for 10 mil?
Oh, hell yeah. You know what I mean?
Like if you're in his
if Jake Paul said, hey, let's fight.
Say it again.
If Jake Paul came up to me and said, hey, let's fight on pay-per-view, but you have to take a fall for 10 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, because I'm knocking out. I'm going to do my best to knock out Jake Paul. It'll probably be worth more than 10 mil after that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I would try to do my best to knock him out too, but you know, if I get hit, I'm taking a dive and I'm flopping like Marcus Smart. You know what I mean?
There's something just against everything in my being of taking a dive. Money, I hate to say it, money just doesn't mean that much to me. Yes, $10 million is a lot of freaking money. I can't do it. I would have to live with that, and I couldn't do it.
I feel you. I mean, look, if I got hit, I would make it look good. You know what I mean? And then, like, hey, with my 10 million, but nah, I would go out there swinging for sure.
I'd go out on my shield. I can't do it.
G Money.
Yeah, 10 mil, bro. I couldn't do it, bro. I just couldn't. I couldn't become a meme.
That is why I love you, Greg.
Couldn't take the money, bro.
You-
It sucks sometimes, but I wish I could. take
It's
the money.
literally because it's literally in exchange for your soul, right?
Yeah, it's
Is
like
it- is-
if I spend my whole life training and being, and then just take a dive like that, it would have to be like if I needed like money for a family, or it would have to be for something really important for me to take a dive.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, if he just came up to me right now and asked me, and I, only had a little bit of time to train it, yeah, I'll take a fall. But if I've been training, no, I'm going out of my shield. I feel
Yeah, even if I didn't have that much training, I ain't taking a fall. I'll still fight you. I'll probably lose, but I ain't gonna just purposely take a dive.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, Chameleon, just to, kind of make it look good for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then, take a dive. I'm like, okay, or go out
Can't
fighting.
do
Go out and fight it and flop like Marcus Smart. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can't do it, man.
That's all I'm gonna say. But we're gonna move off of the
That would suck though if you got knocked out anyways. You didn't
Say that
take a
again?
dive. You didn't take a dive, but you still got knocked out.
Hey,
Like,
still-
oh, damn.
you still got your self worth.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
You went out on your shield. That's fine. And he doesn't have to know that you didn't take a dive.
You're just, yeah, I did. Bro.
I just set you up for a good shot. I didn't know what I was doing.
True that. So we're gonna move on real quickly. Chelsea and Man City played in the UEFA Champions League final, and Chelsea beat them 1-0, which I called and told y'all, yo, anybody that wins the EPL championship has a hard time winning in the Champions League. It's just a fact. I've seen it for the past however many years. So I'm just like, that's why I went with Chelsea. Now, obviously, what's his name that scored? I can't think of his name right now. Man City had a good year. You know what I mean? They won the league again.
That's it.
Right,
I can't think of dude's name. Hold on.
I don't really follow soccer very much, but Man City was the first team I played FIFA. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go with Man City because everybody likes Man United.
I'm a Man United fan.
12 years ago, 15 years ago. So I've always
Kai Havertz.
been a Man City fan. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I'm huge, but
Yeah.
I was rooting for Man City.
Havertz, and Chelsea just got Havertz this year, and he balled out. He really, really did well. Kind of interesting that they didn't. For me, it was kind of interesting that Man City didn't play U.S. keeper. His name is escaping me too.
Shout out to US.
Tim Howard?
No, not Tim Howard. He's not there anymore, or he's not our keeper anymore.
Alexi Lala.
Zach Steffen. Who
Mia Hamm? Greg?
Mia Hamm. Who we're definitely going to need, and for me, I think he's going to be a big piece in the upcoming push for the World Cup. So we'll see.
I hope.
But definitely congrats to Chelsea. I've been telling everybody.
Cheers.
Anybody knows.
Dilly.
I got it right. Also, the USA lost to Switzerland 2-1 in a friendly after being up 1-0. They gave up a lead. I mean, the narrative just never seems to change when it comes to U.S. soccer. As
if the best athletes in the USA played soccer instead of their other sports, would USA dominate? Would they win World Cups left and right?
I'm not gonna say that, only because it really, really you have to be in great shape to run all the time. And you have to make sure that you can train yourself to keep possession of the ball and make passes and make runs. So I mean, if they're doing that, potentially, they could.
I'm saying if Devin Booker decided to play soccer, if LeBron James was the goalkeeper, if who's the New York Giants running back? If
Saquon Barkley
decided to play soccer instead of
Odell Beckham
the
Jr.
best
actually
athletes in the U.S. gravitated towards soccer, would they be the best soccer team in the world?
Potentially, I think they could be
from a young age.
Right, right. I think they could. I think they potentially could be. We would have to change up our training and how we train some of our players.
And absolutely, that goes without saying, right? Because they would play soccer instead of football or basketball from the young
Right.
age, so they're going to get soccer training. But I'm saying, just in general, with the athletes that we have and their
Right.
athletic ability.
Well, it would be that, and we would have to switch up the coaching style and the playing style. Like everything would have to switch up in order for the U.S. to be a perennial soccer house.
But I think that would go without saying, though, right?
Hopefully, I mean,
because if these guys played from 10 years old in soccer instead of basketball and football, everything would be different.
Yeah,
the way they got trained would be different. The way that they chose the national teams would be different. The way that the league was formed would be different.
I definitely think it could. I definitely think it could. I definitely think it could, and it should be, because obviously it hadn't worked. We hadn't won a World Cup ever, and I don't know if we ever will in any of our lifetimes. So
sad face.
I gotta say that. But y'all, let's go into this is a quick soccer. Before we go into the last couple of segments, I have some NBA trivia for you.
Ooh. Damn,
NBA.
Daniel got excited.
I'm kind of good at this.
Are you?
Are you really?
I am.
I don't know if you're good at this. This is via Ballers Nation. So y'all check them out. Okay, so NBA trivia for this. We've kind of been doing an alphabet lineup cut, man, because I know you've been watching.
Of course.
I know you love us. So, all right. This week we are going to do. Did we do C's yet, G Money?
No.
I don't think we did. All right, we're gonna do
We
alphabet
did
line.
A. We did B.
We did. I remember we did. No, we didn't do A.
I remember LeBron was an answer, so it's got to be James with
Yeah,
J.
I don't think we did A. We have not done A, so we'll do A and C today.
Ooh,
all right.
easy
So we're gonna start with A. All right. So, Cutman. This is how it works. You have the 5 positions: point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. And these are guys that's last name starts with A. And they're the best guys in the NBA with the last name that starts with A. So
I got 2.
Go ahead.
I got 2 already off
come at me.
Damn, I too bad I can't say Arvydas Sabonis. With A, that's the hard one, actually, man.
I got 2 off the top of my head. I don't think maybe 1 will be on there, but I think.
Okay, go ahead.
I got Carmelo Anthony.
He's not on there, actually.
Ooh, shit.
Wait, what?
Trevor Ariza?
Nope, not on there either.
Dang.
You're talking about top 5 or the best in their
The best at each position with the last name beginning with A.
That's
and
all I had.
Carmelo or Ariza is not there.
So
go ahead and get the most obvious one out the way.
I tried.
Carmelo Anthony would have been the most obvious.
The most obvious one right now. Who is been in the MVP conversation for the past 3 years and won it?
Oh, Giannis.
There you go.
Okay.
Giannis in there. He's at the power forward.
Dang, I can't believe Carmelo Anthony's not on there.
It is hard. I really don't know how.
He's behind another guy in the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
Plays for the Raptors.
He's playing in the league right now.
He's playing in the league right now.
I remember Bosher as an answer. Siakam, no. Lowry.
You can't say Kyle Lowry, no.
No, Gary Trent, no.
A is hard, man. I can't.
Who's on the Raptors? Stanley
Plays for
Johnson.
the Raptors.
On the Raptors right now.
His first name is Go Backwards.
OG Anunoby.
Yep.
Okay.
OG Anunoby is the small forward.
I forgot OG.
This is a
They
weak
got-
lineup.
they
Over
have-
Kawhi Anthony? or over Carmelo Anthony?
Kawhi Anthony. Everybody's name is Kawhi to him. You've been calling like Kyrie
Anunoby
Kawhi.
over Carmelo Anthony. That is a head scratcher if I've ever heard one.
They might have Carmelo play power forward possibly. So maybe that's why he's not on this list. But yes.
Okay, you're going off of the list. I got you.
Was there
Yeah.
Anderson? Someone named Anderson?
No. The center, I compare him to, I always say he's a young so-and-so as the center.
Oh, the guy from the Heat. You always call him the young Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard.
What's his name?
Who's the young Dwight Howard from the Heat? Daniel?
Dude, why am I blanking on his name right now? It's Jimmy Butler's dude.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't even say it.
Bam Adebayo. There you
Bam
go.
Adebayo.
Oh, there you
I
go.
was trying to think. I was like, why am I bouncing on his name right now?
Now these last two, point guard and shooting guard. The point guard was a rookie.
Oh God.
No, was he a rookie?
Cole Anthony?
Cole Anthony. Yep. And the shooting guard came out of Duke.
Shooting guard, JJ Redick. No.
And he built his name on something not so good while he was in college.
Oh, Grayson Allen?
Grayson Allen.
Trip God.
So let me ask you a question. Are these all people that are in the league right now or total?
Everybody is in the league.
A's are weak. Has to be the weakest of all of the letters.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. That might
Probably.
be the weakest one. All right, now
You
we'll
have Grayson Allen on the list. That's pretty weak.
I'm put you like X or Y is worse.
Yeah, for real. Now we got C's up here, fellas.
Ooh.
All right, go. Who we got?
Vince Carter has to be at the 2.
This is in the league now.
Oh, I thought you said overall.
In the league now.
You got a sad face. You're like, oh. All right, give me some hints. I'm already blinking.
Oh, come on now.
My eyes not even working right now.
With the C.
Steph Curry has to be at the point
Oh,
guard.
okay.
He's there. He's a shooting guard.
Good call. Ooh.
Shooting guard.
Yes. They have him as a shooting guard. There's somebody that's a point guard.
East or West?
West.
See, dang.
He's in the playoffs right now.
John Morant.
Probably one of the
Conley.
most.
Mike Conley?
Conley is on there.
Mike Conley. Okay.
Okay. That's the point guard. Now you have the small forward, power forward, and center. The power forward and center are on the same team. That should help you out a lot.
Ooh. Small forward. East or West?
East. They're on the same team.
Are they in the playoffs?
Yes, they are.
CM.
Their team is probably going to advance tomorrow, even though I hear other people telling
That'll
me.
be Boston. No.
Boston's out.
Kidding.
Heat
Okay.
are out.
Milwaukee.
No.
The Sixers?
Uh-uh.
No.
They're playing in New York.
Joel
team.
Embiid. Nope.
Oh, the Hawks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Trey Young, no. Herder, no.
Big
DeAndre
power forward center.
Who's this power forward?
Yeah.
Oh,
Collins,
the
John
African
Collins.
dude.
John Collins is one. And
Oh,
who's the other?
Clint Capella.
Yep, Clint
There
Capella.
we go. Capella.
And the small forward, San Antonio, from San Antonio.
Oh,
I'm gonna give this one to you, Greg. You have to know this.
Oh, you know this one. You know this one, Daniel.
I gotta give it to Greg though, man.
who's
You
their
know it?
forward? Vassell, Keldon Johnson, DeMar DeRozan.
No. I just said he's from San Antonio.
He's from San Antonio.
Oh, Jordan
Plays in
Clarkson.
the West, right?
Yes. Jordan Clarkson. Yep.
I was thinking Andre Roberson. I was like, that's a R.
That's decent.
He always sticks out.
I wish we'd. Okay, I was thinking all time. Can we real quick? I know. Okay, can we do an all time list real quick that starts with the C's?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Give me 2 minutes. Vince Carter at the 2.
Okay.
Curry at the point.
Steph Curry at the point.
Okay.
Who's at the center?
Who's at the center? Wilt Chamberlain,
Oh yeah, Chamberlain.
Okay. Who's at the power forward?
power forward with a C.
And this is coming from us, right?
Yeah, power forward with a C. That's actually a tough one.
I was gonna say Chris Webber.
I almost thought about that.
That's a C.
Ooh, that's tough. C.
Duncan Garnett, Karl Malone. Let's see who else is there. Charles Barkley, no. Kevin McHale, no. Larry Bird, no.
That's actually a really tough one.
Tom Chambers,
Gotta be a C.
Tom Chambers.
Terry Cummings.
Oh, Terry Cummins.
Mm-mm.
Throwback Spurs name.
Mm.
There's got to be a good C one.
Mm-mm. That's actually pretty tough.
Yeah.
With a C?
That's actually not a very good list. Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell.
He's a power
I'm
forward?
No, I'm just saying. We're looking at Mario Chalmers, Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler actually had a
But
pretty
he's not
good
going-
NBA
He's not over Chamberlain.
He's not over Will Chamberlain though.
But he did play power forward a lot.
Stop that. That man was a center. I don't give a dang.
Him and Eddie Curry did play.
Please don't put Eddie Curry in this conversation.
He played together. That was like they were supposed to be Shaq and Kevin Garnett.
Because then you could start talking about Marcus Camby too.
Ooh, UMass.
Yeah.
John Calipari's first run.
Right. I don't know who else you got, Cut Man. We have what, a power forward and
For power forward, there's really
I
not
put
many
Chandler, I
choices.
I might have to
Honestly,
put,
though, at small forward, I would put Maurice Cheeks up there.
Ooh, Blue Cheeks.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Not too many good power forwards. You'd have to take a guy that played power forward center. Lorenzo Charles, NC
Pick
State
Camby.
champion.
Okay.
Chandler or Camby?
At the power forward?
Yeah, same.
I consider Chandler a center, so I guess can be then.
Yeah, Can man.
Keith Kloss. I'm just kidding. All right. So what about A?
With the A?
Oh God.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Can we put him on there?
Yes, Abdul.
Yeah.
But
Lou
Jabbar.
Alcindor. Lou
But-
Alcindor.
Ooh.
Jabbar.
Melo's on there.
He is on there. Sharif Abdul Rahim.
Ooh, that's good.
Are we really doing that?
Muhammad Abdul Rauf. Yes,
Oh,
it has to be. They start
Are
with
we
an A.
really
Come
doing
on.
that? Those guys fall under
Okay.
the R.
Okay, if you don't want to do that, then LaMarcus Aldridge.
Okay, you can put him at the power forward. That's fair.
Who's at the point guard? BJ Armstrong.
With the A.
Who was the dude that
Tiny
played for
Archibald.
the Celtics in the 50s?
Tiny
Nate
Archibald.
Archibald.
Tiny Archibald.
But who was the dude? He played for the Celtics in the 50s. It wasn't Ariza.
I hope not.
No, it was Ray Allen.
Okay,
Shooting
Ray
guard.
Allen goes to shooting
Oh, yeah,
guard.
there you go,
I'm
yeah.
down. Mhm.
And Carmelo at the 3.
Arizin, Paul Arizin. That's what I was thinking of, but he was a small forward, not a point guard.
Okay. So what do we need? We need a center and a point guard.
No, we have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor. That's our center.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is with the J. No, not doing that. Not doing that. He's with the J's. We're not doing
On
that.
Wikipedia, he is an A.
We're doing that as a J. No.
Wow, that is. Can I call him Lou Alcindor then? Because he still qualifies at when he was called Lou Alcindor. Okay, fine, whatever. Give me your center with an A.
The Admiral.
Joel and I'm kidding.
That guy was classic, man. Joel Anthony, the big
That's
guy.
pretty. Actually, the A's have a pretty good. Not bad. Carmelo Anthony has to be at my small
That's what
forward.
we
Yeah.
said him.
Ron Artest. No, he doesn't get in there.
He doesn't get over Carmelo. Can't do that. Oh, Gilbert Arenas. Oh.
He has to go. He has to go.
Six
Point guard.
man.
Now, who is our shooting guard?
Or Ray Allen.
Ray Allen.
You have longevity versus
Yeah, no, I get you. I'm not
Hibachi.
denying that. I was just
the
saying.
hibachi.
I'm saying Gilbert Arenas was Gilbert Arenas a point guard or was he a shooting guard?
You like Trey?
He's a
Burke.
point guard. He's a point guard. I'll give him that.
Because I think he was a shooting guard.
Because he played point guard and shooting guard.
But he was more of a shooting guard when he busted.
Okay, so then he's off the list. Then you have nobody on point guard. What about Giannis? He has to be our 4.
Who was
You
at
have
our
Aldridge.
4? Oh yeah, we had Aldridge at our 4.
I mean, long term, you're probably gonna say Giannis,
Yeah.
but right now, I think you have to go Aldridge.
What?
Nah, I might have to go Giannis.
Yeah, you might have to go Giannis.
Go Giannis, man. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He is-
And this is actually a pretty decent list. Nate Archibald. You have a lot of guys that we took off. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just wanted to.
No.
He wasn't that bad.
This is good. I'm trying to think about some.
He wasn't bad.
Because I'm cheating. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now.
There you are. What about Morning or Lonzo? No.
Ooh.
Hey, now, if I can't use Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you cannot use Morning Alonso. There is no center. There is no center.
For real.
Tom Abernathy.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, there is.
That when they play with Chuck?
Steven Adams. Steven Adams.
Oh, Steven Adams makes it.
Adams.
That's almost as great as the Grayson Allen.
Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is a pretty decent name.
Oh yeah.
There's some good guys that start with A. I mean, but I would have to move LaMarcus to the center position.
Yeah.
Could we put Bam on there right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, so you put Aldridge at the center position.
Maybe by default. Yeah. I'm going to treat it like an all-star roster.
Okay.
If they played that position at any time in their career, I'm going to put Aldridge at the 5, Giannis at the 4.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put Paul Arizin at the 3. If y'all don't remember Paul Arizin, y'all need to pay attention.
So where you putting Melo?
Oh, shoot. I'm putting Melo at the 3.
Nah, if
Ray
you
Allen at the
Melo,
2.
you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Ray Allen at the 2 and Gilbert Arenas at the 1.
Okay.
Anybody want to argue with that?
Bars.
That's fair. Like I said, I just don't know about Arenas being that point guard. But then again, on here they had Bradley Beal as a freaking point guard. Didn't make any sense. So.
That's all they
Yeah.
have.
Fair enough. Thank you again, Ballers Nation. Okay, so we're gonna close it out with this, fellas. Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open, citing she didn't want to talk to the media because she's been dealing with depression since the 2018 US Open. And she came out and explained it. You know, she's been really dealing with that. And, you know, she didn't want to take away her not talking to the media and, you know, getting fined and all that stuff and put attention on her away from the actual tournament itself. So she thought it best for her to take a step back and withdraw from the tournament and whatnot, which a lot of people have supported her, right? And it just raises the question, should athletes be required to still talk to the media, or is it okay if they don't talk to the media? You know, what are your kind of thoughts on that one? G-Money, give me yours.
I think a team sport, you can have a designated couple people that talk to the media and the rest of them really don't. I don't think everybody needs to have a soundbite. Everybody needs to be talked to. Like, I'm okay with people just not saying things. Like, it's okay with me. I'm not really interested in like what some people have to say. Like maybe like the team captain or the quarterback, or I'm okay with that. Individually, like I think they both have to come to a compromise. I don't want to lean one way like towards the establishment and institutions or the other way towards complete player because you can get in trouble either way. So I think there needs to be some kind of middle ground where people can find where maybe the sessions are shorter, maybe it's by someone you feel comfortable with or certain reporters. There's got to be some kind of middle ground. I don't want it to be like where it comes down to like, well, athletes will never longer talk to the media, or the media is so abrasive, so on top of people where, these athletes are coming off these big performances, these heartbreak losses. Sometimes they're in their emotions, and right away you have to be on them, and they know that you're looking for clickbait, you're looking for you to say something, and you can't really say what you want to say. It's kind of an abrasive, situation. So I understand the pressures that it has, and especially being a young person, like in the eyes of the media. So there has to be some kind of compromise. I don't want it to shift either way, to be honest with you.
Okay. Go
I-
ahead, Kanye.
I go either way with this. Like it's yes and no, right? In the sense that the questions that they ask of are pretty asinine sometimes. They asked her the other day, after or not too long ago, they basically said, "Oh, how would you consider yourself? Are you just like Serena Williams, or like you're taking after Serena Williams, and you're also an American tennis player?" Like the questions that they ask of her are just stupid.
Yeah.
Like why should you have to sit there and take these questions, right? Caroline Wozniak was asked not too long ago, do you feel bad as a Dutch person that the Dutch reporters don't have enough money to stay for the rest of the tournament when you get when you lose and get eliminated from a tournament? Like, why should an athlete have to sit there? And I use Kyrie as a big example of this because he's been kind of the prototype of getting fined for not showing up. Marshawn Lynch as well. There's a difference in the fact that Osaka, she says she suffers from depression and social anxiety, and that's a big thing. But also one of the things is, hey, one of the parts of your job is to talk to the media. So I say yes, no, in the sense that you should learn to talk to the media. Yes, it is a hard thing, but that is also part of your job. And I get depression, social anxiety, things like that. But the only way to make that better is to handle it. Otherwise, you'll just never be able to do it, right? Same as like Kyrie. On the other hand, these reporters need to ask better questions. It needs to be fulfilling from both ends. If you show up and they ask you asinine questions, why should you even show up? So I see the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
No. It's a good answer. I like it. Very, very good answers from the both of y'all. It's very interesting because when it comes down to the media, you're right. They do ask some pretty, dumb questions like, "Why the heck are you asking that?" You know what I mean? Like, it just, and some of them, honestly think it's a legitimate question. Like, "Oh yeah, well, we want to know some things." It's some things you kind of read the room. Like, if they have a bad loss, do you think that they're, thinking about, oh, what's moving next, who's moving forward? No, they're dealing with what the loss is. You know what I mean? When it comes to team sports like that, when it comes to individual, sports like tennis and golf, I mean, they tend to try to interview the bigger stars, after wins, losses, whatever. You know what I mean? And with that, it's tough because you do kind of have to come to a compromise, like you mentioned, G Money, and that because, or not a compromise, but you're like with that, you kind of have to. It's one of those things you kind of have to somewhat suck it up and talk to the media because it is a part of your job. And it's, as far as the individual sports go with it, but at the same time, I'm just like, if you're feeling a certain type of, dealing with some anxiety, if you're dealing with, depression, this, that, and the other, I feel like it sometimes for me would be okay if they're like, "Hey guys, I'm kind of really going through stuff right now. to maybe take a question or two and then get out of there. You know what I mean? Not continuous follow-up questions, making it drawn out long. Like sometimes you just need to just kind of get away from everything, right? When it comes to team sports, there needs to be maybe a one or two, maybe designated people. Obviously, coaches tend to answer a lot of questions. They want to see how the players are feeling, but a lot of the times it is clickbaitish. Like you want LeBron James to say something bad about J.R. Smith for missing that shot game one of the finals. Like you want to say, no, he's trash, blah, blah, blah. Why did he do that? This, that, and the other. You want Kawhi Leonard to come out and say, oh yeah, Paul George is breaking off the backboard. Like this dude, I don't know what the hell this guy's on. He's trash, blah, 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 blah. After the conference semifinals last year. Like you want that turmoil. So I'm not, when I mean you, I'm talking about the media kind of wants that turmoil so they can run a story specifically, even though a lot of times we're trying to report, the truth and, not have an opinion, being partial, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's very, very tough. It's very interesting. I'll leave y'all with this. Kyrie Irving definitely didn't speak a lot to the media and, took days off. We didn't know what the hell was going on with him. Come to find out it's depression and anxiety and this, that, and the other. I'm just more of the mindset of if you're going through stuff, just come out and say it because you're in the public eye. You're in the public eye. We want to know what's going on with you as a person. Now, if you don't want to talk to us after you coming out and saying what how you feeling, whatnot, that's perfectly fine. I think they should be allowed to, kind of let that be, leave them alone. But the press conferences to me are too long. You got players kind of sitting here just like, when the hell do I get to go home? I'm trying to see my family, ICE, this, that, and the other. It's different now. We know more about mental health than it was back in the day where it's kind of like, okay, suck it up and, just deal with it. You know what I mean? So that's
one more thing. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
LeBron James, he gets the most hate for what he says in any end. But if he said, I don't want to give an interview, what would the headline be? LeBron James is an asshole for not wanting to give an interview. Why wouldn't you want to talk? I hear so much hate for LeBron James, but yet they want to hear from him. If LeBron James didn't say anything, people would give him crap for not saying anything.
They sure would.
Especially
he can't win. He can't win either way.
Yeah.
Say that again.
I said if you don't get interviews from players, you're gonna lose. The jobs are on the line. Like you're gonna lose.
This is true. Which is the other side of it is, you have guys that are, in the media that are getting a lot of pressure from the higher ups that are like, you need to get this interview. You need to, get the story out now. And it's just like, it's a very cutthroat business. If you don't get it, you know what I mean? So both ways, some things need to change, in my opinion. Will it? More than likely, probably not. But, so we just kind of have to deal with, stuff, how we deal with it. If you don't get an interview from a player, like I said, the best way to do it in my perspective is players, if y'all aren't feeling like talking or whatever, just take a question to say, hey guys, I'm not really in the mood, I'm kind of going through some stuff. And you can just leave it at that. Not everybody needs to know your business.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's kind of the two-headed thing of everything, right? The media and everybody wants to know 100% of everything that's going on at all times and 100% of your real thoughts. And then players and everybody's like, I don't want to even do any interviews. I don't even want to, subject myself to all these things. And it's like they both want, two different things,
Right.
It's like we gotta find some kind of middle ground where, because understanding where players come from and stuff is an important extra layer for us as fans to get access to. But then there's too far, I don't want to know everything about your life. I don't need to know everything, And then also on the other side, like I don't think it's beneficial for everybody just to stay quiet and never say anything again.
Right. So the best way to get that change, it has to be contractually because of the union. You sign these contracts, and whether you're like, well, I didn't read that in that contract or this, that, and the other, or I don't feel like it, like you're under contract for doing that. So essentially they could be like, if you don't speak, you can lose money or we can cut you, you lose your job, even though if you're a high profile player, they're probably not going to do that because you bring a lot of money to that team. But it's possibility for some who aren't those high profile players that are going to, lose their jobs over that. And it sucks. So as a whole, NBA, NFL, whomever, they need to go back and take a look at that, because, it's just not working on both sides. We got to come to a middle ground and figure this out, because mental health is definitely, it's real, and it's very, very, it's very important. It's very important for, our athletes and for everybody today. So
Agreed.
yep. But we're gonna get into this last thing real quick. Meant to mention
Favorite
this last
topic,
week.
man.
Meant to mention this last week. So Phil Mickelson won the PGA championship and became the oldest PGA champion, or oldest tour champion, at 50.
Oldest major champion.
Oldest major champion at 50 years old.
51.
51, excuse me, 51. So my question to y'all is, was this probably the most epic championship run ever in any major sport?
Greg, I would like to hear your answer. I'm gonna take a little while. So
I'll go with George Foreman coming back and winning the heavyweight championship.
Okay.
He came back about 10 years after he retired. I think it was like 30, 38, 37, 38.
No, he was 50.
Mm.
And then he 50, and then he came back and won at 45, didn't he?
No, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought he
Yeah.
retired at 38. He came back at 45 and won it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I think that was my favorite.
That was-
Are we
okay.
talking about like age of the star? Are we talking about like purely old guys winning championships? Or are we just talking about general epic championship runs?
old guys? I mean, just the epic championship. They can be old.
Because it's not even the most epic in golf, right? To me, you have Jack Nicklaus winning the Masters Championship at 46, coming from behind on the last day on Sunday to win it. His last 9 holes were some of the most amazing in golf. I'll even say Tiger Woods 2019 to me is my favorite, because I never thought he'd win another major, coming back from the injuries that he had.
On the Masters.
I've written reports about Tiger Woods. I stood up in high school. I remember Black Student Union wanted a list of, hey, come talk about, famous Black people, African Americans that have done great things. I stood up and talked about Tiger Woods. He's my favorite athlete of all time. And seeing Tiger 2019, I didn't think he would ever win a major again. Hadn't won one in 6 years. Winning Masters, that was bigger than what I saw Phil Mickelson do. Was it great? Yes. Phil Mickelson had a great championship career. 6 majors.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Cool to watch. 51 years old. Great. Tiger Woods 2019, something I'll tell my kids about.
Yeah, and Tiger at that point was 42.
He was 40, I believe. He was in his 40s. I'm not even sure what he is right now.
I think he's 44.
He was coming off of plenty of knee surgeries, back surgeries,
A scandal.
scandals for days. Have you guys seen the Tiger Woods documentary on HBO Max?
I need to watch it. I need to watch it.
Please watch that. It will give you a new perspective on what he went through to win that, how much it meant to a lot of people, and the extent of what his scandals actually were. But, as a lifelong golfer, man, I would say it's not even the biggest in golf, but it's up there. Good for Phil. He's been that dude. He was for longest time known as the guy who the best golfer to never win a major. He ended up winning 6 of them. 51 years old, man. That's pretty tough. But I'll even put George Foreman's above Phil Mickelson's.
Right. Tiger was 43 at that time.
43. So
right. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. For me, it was tough. I mean, you could go, the Lakers winning the championship last year, even though they kind of blew through everybody. LeBron's older, but they ended up blowing through everybody. You could talk about that 2016 comeback from down 3-1 in the finals of the Cavs. You could even talk about the the Heat with that epic Ray Allen 3, you know, against the Spurs. He didn't even go with the Detroit Pistons going up
Sure.
against that huge Lakers team. But I got one.
What about NC State in the 1981 NCAA championship as an 11 seed?
That was crazy too. That was epic. That was very epic. That was very epic. I have one. Huh?
Miracle on Ice.
And you have the Miracle on Ice too. I have one in mind, because of just how far down they were to come back and pull that off when a lot of us were like, there's no way in hell they should be able to do that. And that is the New England Patriots against the Atlanta Falcons. To me, that junk was epic as hell because they were down 28-3. It didn't look like they had a lick of hope with a really, really depleted. I mean, you had an older Gronkowski that's hurt. Was Edelman was there still at the time. I mean, you had some guys that just were not even top tier players, and they still were able to come back and win that Super Bowl with Tom Brady leading them. Like, to me, that was probably one of the most epic for me, especially for an older quarterback. At that point, Brady was already 37, 38. Epic. That was epic. That was probably the most epic by an older guy for me winning championship.
Yeah. Because see, I like how you talk about, like I said, we kind of switched between older and just general, right? Because in general,
too, that was one of the best
State and Buster Douglas probably beat everything. When you're talking about older guys, Tom Brady even winning this year's championship is one of the greatest things we've ever seen.
Yeah, but it was, to me, that one that year against the Falcons was more impressive to me. I mean, it was impressive that they won this year. Absolutely. You know, especially stopping that off. But that was more about their defense stopping that offense for me. This that year was more about their offense coming back because they had to put up points and really, really sticking it to Atlanta. So if you didn't hear me say old guy, I said, yeah, it was more old guys, not just general.
Okay, so old guys, yeah. Then Philly makes he's in the top 5.
You can say Tiger though, because Tiger was still older.
And Tiger is older.
So
older than 40.
Your answer still sticks. That's a good answer. And then G Money, you said Foreman. I mean, not Foreman.
Yeah. I love G Ray's answer.
Foreman Grills, baby.
Yeah, what's Foreman?
I watched that live, man. I remember the HBO booklet. George Foreman versus I can't even remember the dude's name, but I remember seeing it came out. Oh yeah, this fight. George Foreman win the title. I was 9 years old. Mm-hmm. That was before he came out with his
baby.
His grills.
Changed the world.
Mm-hmm.
He literally did change the world.
Him and Paul Wall, all about the grills.
Well, who is it that does the Change the World commercial now? That's Jeff Goldblum. Change the world. But hey, y'all, that's gonna do it for this episode. Our editor, C-Mac, is gonna be pissed off at us because he's like, 2 hours? What the? We've been on for a long time, fellas.
I feel like it's my fault, guys. I apologize. Every time I'm on, I feel like the episodes are very long, so I'm gonna learn how to cut it down a little bit.
It is. The cut man tends to go long-winded sometimes, but it's okay.
Put it all on me. Put it on my shoulders.
That's on me, baby. That's on me. Okay, anyway, go follow us. Check us out on wherever you find your podcast. I'm not gonna do that today.
Is that Yellow Breezy?
Say again.
It's all on me, baby. Is that Yellow Breezy?
Yeah, it's Yellow Breezy. Yeah. That's on me, baby. Yeah, these numbers on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do like what's his name with the 444 commercial? It's 444. Do I have to go through this again? Y'all know what the number is. That's how I'm feeling about the podcast. You can go follow us on Anchor, and you already know what it is. Go follow us. Stats versus Facts Sports Talk. You ain't got that VS. What you listening to, Daniel?
That BS.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go follow us, SVS Sports Talk. Instagram, Twitter. Go follow the Brothers Show, Spurs versus Everybody on Instagram and Twitter and wherever you find your podcast. Go follow Danny G too if y'all want to. I mean, he's kind of an interesting guy. Danny G 14, I believe, is on his Instagram.
13, bro. Come on. 14? Come on.
My bad.
13.
Danny G 13 is on IG.
I was born on Friday the 13th. That's why I like the Clippers and the Bengals, man, because, you know, I just love chaos.
Misery.
From what, Spider-Man and Green Goblin came in?
What?
Misery. That's all
Something like that, man. I don't know. I like the underdog. One of these days, the underdog is going to rule the world. Joe Burrow, Kawhi Leonard, let's go.
Yeah. Sometimes the little dogs can sit in the back while the big. Y'all, we out of here.
This is a long podcast. Let's stop that. I'm gonna stop talking.
I am too, y'all. We out of here. Appreciate y'all for always listening, and you know, y'all be safe out there. You know, things are getting better. Rona's almost over. You know what I mean? So we got some big things planned up. But for Cut Man and G Money, it's been your boy Marsh, and we will catch y'all next time on that.
Stats versus facts. Ayy. Stats versus facts. Ayy. Know where we at on the stats versus facts. Yeah, my boy hella black. He on the stats versus facts. And you might get smacked by the stats versus facts. Ayy.
We'll catch y'all next time.
Peace.